Okay, get the backup machine running. Get into this. Alrighty, good. So let's get the presentation up and running. Just gotta find that. And we'll better go for it in this thing. Okay, that's running, that's running. I will share the screen there and we can get into it. There's my share screen. Okay. All right. Alrighty, let's go. So, welcome to Soul Contract Reading free webinar. Okay. And this one is about how to help people heal their karma, or identify and heal their karmic issues. All right, so I'll say this little formal bit here because some people are going to watch this cold on YouTube. So, have you noticed how people turn away from the biggest karmic challenges they face in their lives? And no matter how hard they've tried, as they're just too painful for them to face, as they lack the spiritual map of life of how to overcome them. So this free live webinar is all about how you can help others identify these core patterns, and most importantly, how to go about transmuting them, so they can, most importantly, deliver their gift of service to the world, that special thing they've been looking for their entire life, which is what we light workers are born with, and we spend a lot of time trying to find that. I remember when I was younger, I was born into a normal family, and with all the karmic stuff that goes with that. And I always wondered, well, there's something important for me to do here, but I can't find it. And my parents didn't know, school didn't know, university didn't know, work didn't know, so no one knew. So I found it really frustrating, doing these degrees and getting a job, and it just wasn't it. Someone was definitely not telling me something. And it wasn't until I started my spiritual journey and realized, this is a lot more interesting now. So I couldn't get a degree in this, what I really want to do. I was looking for it. I was talking to my team the other day, actually, and they all went through the same thing. They were trying to look for their purpose, and they couldn't find it anywhere until they woke up spiritually. It wasn't until I'd started my spiritual journey. I've been traveling from New Zealand, which is about as far away as you can get from anywhere in the world, in Asia, and I got to America, and then I found Frank Alpa, who was the founder of this work, the Soul Contract Reading work. Well, he called it the spiritual numerology of Moses. And I was on this carousel growth workshop a week in Phoenix, Arizona, my first big spiritual workshop. And it was like coming home, meeting like-minded people. Most of them I'd known from past lives. I realized they seemed very familiar. Meeting my real family was great. And I'm still in contact with some of them. 36 years later, still in contact with some of them. That was very powerful. And during that workshop, Frank gave me a soul contract reading, and he explained. He took my name and he analyzed it on a Star of David, and he did some maths, worked out all my numbers. We're going to do that in a little while, and he explained my entire life, which is the main thing that came out of it was I was here to be a spiritual teacher, which is actually what happened. It was so life-changing. So I think it was the second most profound moment of my life after the birth of my son. He showed me what my gift of service was, and that was just like someone switched the lights on. And so I brought it to England and mastered it and started teaching it here and spreading it through Europe and then back to America. And that moment of finding my gift of service was really amazing, because it set me on this really fulfilling journey of service, and still doing this work. I don't do many readings anymore, but still teaching practitioners after all those years. Been teaching them for 22 years now. 22 years? no, 32 years I've been teaching practitioners in this work. So that's how this is how it all started. What I'm doing. Very powerful awakening. So I want to find out why you guys are here. Okay. So Primala, you're the brave one, but we know each other. Why did you come to this webinar?
Do you know, by chance, I was off today and
Yeah.
I had this sitting in my inbox when it first arrived, and I went, I am doing a lot more readings, and there is, it's always hard, even as humans, that you know what your patterns are and the unconscious behaviors you have to change. And there's a slight fear of wanting to embrace it and change it and step forward to do that. And I have got a split in clients that are coming to me where some goes, oh gosh, I know I need to do that. I know that is something I need to work on. And you give them the tips on how they can manage that. But but for me, I think the biggest thing for joining this webinar is how can you trigger that? Not trigger, maybe that's the wrong word. How can you I think awareness brings obviously is a starting point for them, but how can I help my client to actually take that first step,
Okay.
if
Oh,
that
well,
makes sense?
well, you're in the right place. Okay. I just need to find out. I just need to seem to change things here. I don't know how to get the chat up. Hang on. Let me just stop sharing for a sec and find the chat here. There it is. Okay. What's a good start? So let's share the screen again. Okay. Mark, do you want to share anything, either by voice or in the chat? We can read it out just so I understand what you need. It's entirely voluntary. Don't have to if you don't want. Yeah, it's not showing me the chat. Um, it's not showing me the chat. Okay, no. All right, I'll put this over here. Let's get on with this then. Okay, we'll keep going. Um, so I'll go back to screen. Sorry about this, guys. Still getting used to the way that Zoom have changed the interface here.
That's okay.
Bit weird. Can't get all the things you want to get at. So let's talk a little bit about how this works. Okay. So I want to say something a bit strange here. Our karma contains our spiritual gift of service. And that seems a strange thing to say because you think, well, the karma's the bad stuff and it's hard stuff, things like that. Where would my good stuff be? Well, we're looking for it everywhere. What am I here to really do? But actually, what happens is that in our karmic patterns, we think we have the law of attraction, which is supposed to create the good stuff, but actually what happens at the same time is we get the law of opposites. We get all the things we don't want, the things we weren't told about initially. So life is quite challenging when we're younger because of that. And so the idea here is that is to bring our consciousness, turn it into the law of opposites, all the karmic stuff happening, and to bring consciousness to it. And as we transmute the karma, to transmute it into our gifts of service, what we're here to really do. Okay. So that's why most people get stuck because they get stuck in the karma and trying to avoid it. The ego doesn't like pain. And when they try to avoid it, what happens then is that we make very slow progress, as you've seen with people who are not on the spiritual path. Okay, so how can we help people? Okay, find the answer to the search for their gift of service. So learning to do this work, training as a soul contract reader is the answer to that search because it helps you decode the secrets of the blueprint of life for spiritual seekers hidden within the sounds of their birth name. Because sound is creative, it creates our reality in each moment. I'm going to clip this microphone up here. It keeps falling off. And so we teach you how to do that with this work, if you're interested. And what the soul contract reading does is it empowers people to first understand, well, what's going on. Most people don't know what's going on. I was bouncing off a padded cell or a rock cell, actually, most of my life. Okay. But it helps them understand how to overcome their karma. One of my karmic patterns is unworthiness to be seen, to be loved. But I had to overcome that to become a spiritual communicator teacher. Another pattern was to have a very disempowering childhood. Okay. So I could come into my power to catalyze others to grow. And because of this work, if I think about it now, I've overcome a lot of it. And I would never got here without knowing what my spiritual map of life was with the soul contract. And it allows you to express more of your talents. Mine is to express out in society and channel through high consciousness parts of my soul to help people grow and help you achieve your goals. And if you work on all these three, then you can help manifest your soul or life purpose here. So life is a lot more fulfilling than for the average human. So the next thing is, well, how do we figure that out? Let's make sure, how do we figure that out? So this is the Star of David I was talking about. And this is a gateway of consciousness, really. All right. And what happens here is that we have to enter into the earth plane through this gateway of consciousness. Okay. And to have an earthly experience, we put on an earth suit, our ego, personality, avatar, and our physical body. So our soul sits inside, and then we basically live life through this filter. Have you seen Avatar, Pramala?
Yeah.
It's a bit like, they go into the pods and they come into the avatar and they're a big blue, 10-foot alien. It's the same idea.
Yeah.
Basically. So this is actually what your avatar is doing. It's how you're going to experience life. That's what's going on here. So to come to Earth, you've got to be ready for this level of spiritual school. Like they don't let you into school on Earth, a normal school, unless you're ready. So what happens is that this program that's put in place has two triangles. There's a physical triangle and a spiritual triangle. And the physical triangle is where we as a brand new avatar have to, not our soul's eternal, but the avatar is brand new each lifetime. We have to learn to walk and talk, get conditional responses, get up and running in life. Okay. And so we spend the first 5 cycles or 7 years focused on that. All right. That gets you to 35. Or that's a primary dominance. Between the ages of 35 and 42, the spiritual triangle starts to activate. Okay. And that becomes more predominant. It was already running in the background anyway, but it becomes more important. So this is time. This is intent percentage or intensity, I guess. The physical triangle is very intense initially, and it diminishes over time as you work through it. And the spiritual one starts slow, then it gets more important later on. Okay. So this is how the two work. And the idea is the spiritual triangle forms on the foundation of the physical triangle. And the soul's hoping you've done enough physical work to have your avatar's well established here so you can get on with the spiritual mission. Physical karma, we have karma, talents, and goals in the physical realm in each of these corners. And karma is those unresolved issues that create the negative context of your life, all the stuff you don't want, that we're here to overcome. And the physical talents are latent and they trigger to overcome your physical karma if it's a good match. Okay. If it's not a good match, it means you need other energies, different names, and different relationships for it to work. And as they get stronger, the spiritual talents, that moves you towards the physical goals here for you to work through. So the energy flows from karma to talents to goals in the physical, and karma to talents to goals in the spiritual. So the spiritual karma is how do you unlock access to your high consciousness gifts for your mission. Okay? So we're made up of these six outer aspects. And over time, it's time this way. Most people go very slowly through them over time. This is percentage complete. But if you know what's going on, you can go through it a lot quicker because you're conscious of what's going on. This is what this work does. It helps people bring consciousness to the program. It gives them guidance. Well, here's what you actually do rather than guessing, which doesn't work too well, as you know. I mean, think about how challenging life was before you woke up spiritually, Pramila. It was pretty tough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Had no idea what's going on. Most of us have no idea, but if you know what's going on, you're halfway there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So the idea here is that as you work through these consciously, that contributes towards manifesting your soul destiny here. Okay. So layer by layer, the soul destiny or life purpose is revealed. And when you hit certain thresholds of completion of these, okay, this basically gives you one layer when you're ready. You never get more than you can handle. You might think you can't handle it, but the next level comes when you're ready, and it turns up and you're, oh, I've learned a whole new thing, or what I'm here to do. Now I'm ready. And then you get more and more layers. And if you look back, you think, if you knew all this at the beginning, you'd think, oh my God, don't know if I can do that. But the thing is that it's a natural progression when it happens.
Yeah,
You grow into your purpose.
that's right.
And,
Yeah.
and, and as you know, life never turns out the way you think it will. So you think about life 10 years ago, what you thought you were going to be doing, it's completely different what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And this is just a part of the same principle. Okay. So,
And I see it as Nicolas, right? Because I work in education
yeah,
and I've started to look at a soul contract and even the way I describe it as a curriculum for an
what it,
individual to learn.
it is.
And Alona mentioned it as well in a Instagram post recently, and it is that everyone who has done a soul contract reading has said it has changed their life dramatically because it brought to awareness things that they were just overlooking in their life.
Yeah.
And they were blaming external factors for it. Obviously, external does play a part, but a lot of it was the way they were approaching that situation.
Well, it's an internal job. It's all, everything you experience is created by the soul's frequencies. You have this thing called karmic matrix. It's a fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional cobweb substance in your field. It's literally projecting out to the matrix, which is real, and the matrix rearranges around whatever you're putting out.
Yeah,
Okay, you're creating everything. Nothing is ever done to you. It's actually um, you're attracting everything in there. So therefore you're responsible for all that. But on that basis, if you're attracting everything, the next corollary is I can change it. Because most people think things are being done to me, therefore I can't do anything about it. But it's the exact opposite.
yeah.
Yeah, you become
And that is
aware of
quite
it.
powerful, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Once you understand, not I would say as well, not it's completely different to wanting to control everything, but how you can influence a situation without the need for control.
yeah. Well, the thing is that it's about focusing on what you want to manifest and letting go and trusting in God.
Yeah,
It's the ego that controls, doesn't trust in God, usually because of bad stuff that happened in the past. Okay, which is normal for human beings. Life's very challenging down here. Okay, because it gets our attention and the emotional intensity is how our soul learns. When we're in a physical body, the cellular memory goes into the soul of everything we experience. That's how it learns. And souls can't wait to get down here to learn. And we're in here thinking, God, I wish I wasn't here sometime on a bad day.
100%.
Yeah, so no one's ever happy. But there's a cue to get down here for learning. That's the way it works. So,
Yeah,
okay. So I'll show you how this works. So, Pramela, do you want me to do a demo on your chart?
go for it,
So
Nicholas.
you're the brave one here. You've shown yourself, and uh, if you want one mark later, just let me know when you've seen this. Probably a bit of time, a little bit of time to do that. So So this is our software here called soulcontractreader.com. So if you guys watching the video later, you can work out your own chart here. You get up to 4 free charts. It's called soulcontractreader.com. Okay. And there's a small charge after that if you want to do more. So we click on, we just log in. It looks like this actually when you come into it. Basically, it tells you these packages here, but you'll have there'll be a green box which will say 4 free charts here. Okay. Right. So we go new. So Pramila, put your current name down. Is that your birth name or married name?
That's my married name.
Okay. So we call this your current name, and it
Yeah.
requires bridging, which is a little more complicated. I'll explain. AH, and we use 22 Hebrew sounds in the system. Okay. And AH is one single Hebrew sound. No, it's not 2 separate sounds. Okay, so we have to decide is the Pramila 1 sound or 2 sounds, but it sounds to me like it's Pramila Hirani. It sort of rolls
That's
together, doesn't it? It sort of just flows. There's no pause there.
no.
So we'll go for the AH. This is called a bridge letter. Okay, we've got AH there. Okay. All right. We copy it to your birth name. And what's the birth name?
My birth name, so it's Premila and then Ben after the
Ben.
A.
Yeah. Was it one word?
Uh,
One word, is it?
that's one word, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then my middle name is Kanji, K-A-N for November, J-I.
Yeah.
And my surname is Patel.
Okay. All right. Correct idea. I won't put your birthday in for data protection purposes. What's your birth sign?
Sagittarius.
Okay. Normally you put your birth date in there to figure that out. And you're okay with me doing this? I've got to get your consent.
100%, yeah.
Today's date is the 13th. So we go 13 and 6. Okay. Charts, hit labels, talents and goals. We go okay. Yeah. All right. So we're going to just generate this chart. Yeah, is that spelled right? Got that right?
100, yeah, that's fine.
We're okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So here's how we do it. This is why we have software. Because normally we do this. Normally we do this. If you do it by hand, there's more of a risk of getting it wrong, which is why we develop the software. So it works on any device with a browser, computer, phone, tablet. Okay. So basically, we have 22 Hebrew letters, ancient Hebrew letters, that come out of the movement of Great Spirit, Source, or God, or whatever you want to call it. And basically, we match your name to the sounds of those letters. Right? And this is the Hebrew matching sound. Sometimes the sounds are combined, as you saw with your current name, the A and the H were combined. Not in this case, though, you're okay. And so the main difference between this system and, say, Pythagorean numerology is that numbers and letters are the same thing in Hebrew. This is pay in Hebrew, which is 17. 17 is not allocated to P, it is P.
Right.
Whereas it's Hebrew sounds rather than allocating numbers 1 to 26 to the Roman alphabet. So it's quite different. So basically, we're working with the pure frequencies of God that your soul chose after it reviewed its many past lives. It would say, well, say this is this current life. It looked at all the themes going through the lifetime, saying, well, I'd like to learn a bit more about this, that, and the other. So I'm going to program it into this name. And it chooses the parents, time zone, culture, relationships, all the key things in your life, which are going to give you optimal opportunity to grow from. Okay, so we get all these numbers coming out, and we're going to decode them on the Star of David. And so I'll show you how we do that. So what we do here is that we start here. Just going to move cameras a little bit. And we'll just clear this off. We start at first number, we put it in physical karma. So 1725, 1725, 13, 5, 12, 13, 5, 12. We go one circuit around the Star of David. Okay, so that takes us to here. Then we do the next six numbers. We go 1, 2, 5, 14. We go around. We do another round here. Go around again. Then one more number, which is the 12 here. So we've allocated the numbers. So these frequencies are like wound into your energy fields, and your energy fields carry this energetic configuration. Let me do some maths. We add the numbers up. The total in physical karma is 37. Okay, we add the numbers up. Excuse me. 37 doesn't have any meaning because there's only 22 numbers and 22 sets of interpretations from the soul of Moses. Okay, so you go, something go 3 plus 7 equals 10. That becomes the left-hand number. 1 plus 0, reduce it to the smallest number, single-digit number equals 1. That's the right-hand number. So we have what's called a 10-1 in physical karma. Okay. We work out the same for all the others. Well, this is a different one. Let's say 20 here. Total is 20 for physical talents. So 20 goes here because it's less than 22, and we get 2 plus 0 equals 2. Produces 2 here. Okay. And spiritual karma, total is 44. 4 plus 4 equals 8. And because there's no other, we can't reduce it anymore, we get another rate. It's called a double number. So it's one frequency, pure 8 frequencies, whereas this is a range of frequencies between 10 and 1. Yeah, okay. This is called a combination number. That's called a double number. So it just means for these numbers here, we've got double numbers. There's more of a focus, Premila, just on those numbers. That's what the soul's actually doing. So, okay. So then what we do is we have to figure out the soul destiny. So what we do is we take the physical numbers, place them on the top half of the table, spiritual numbers on the bottom half, and then we add them up, get 75 and 30. So 75 has to be reduced to the first number between 1 and 22. So 7 plus 5 is 12. The right-hand number has to be reduced to the first single-digit number, because 3 plus 0 is 3. The 12, 3 goes to here, in the middle. And all these channel symbols Frank Harper brought them through, and they're like gateways that tell me, going to talk to me. It's like your higher self and my higher self are going to have a bit of a chat, Premila. So you'll get whatever you need to hear at a conscious personality level. So I'm going to give you a quick reading of this, a little bit on each one, but what's the main question you have about your life at the moment?
I would say I'm ready to go into a career based on my spiritual passions, which is soul contract reading. I have started, but I want to do that. But it's a bit like I've got one foot in the spiritual passion element of my career and one foot in the corporate world that I work in now. And I love both,
Okay.
basically. So for me, it's like, how do I work around that?
So can you tell me more about the corporate job? It's an education job, it's a training job, is
Yes.
it?
Yeah, so I work for Oxford University Press and I work as a portfolio manager. So I've worked really closely with schools when we've developed curriculums. I work specifically for STEM. I like the fact that OUP is a charity-based publisher, that everything that we create goes back into research and in an investment for new resources that can help disadvantaged children. Like children's education is something that I'm so passionate about.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that will always be there because I love learning myself, and I do feel that when you allow children to have access to knowledge, it can change their lives in a huge way. And I guess some of it is in my soul contract where I do love learning. I'm constantly learning. So I guess it's that part that I feel passionate about, which keeps me rooted in the corp world, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in physical karma, you've got a 10-1. Let's find out why you're here. And the 10-1 is about bringing in the balanced masculine and feminine aspect of God to Earth and disseminating healing and knowledge to serve others. So I guess you're serving others with Oxford University Press, really, because you're sharing knowledge out in the world, which is the 4 is about sharing knowledge,
Yeah.
which is probably why it gives you some reasonable degree of satisfaction, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're sharing it. So the broader purpose is to be of spiritual service with God's energy. Okay. Um, and so what it's doing here is hi, Tetsuko. What it's doing is as long as you maintain that trend of being of service of spiritual energy, you'll be happy. You'll be happy, bunny. Okay. But I would say for you, well, this is communication as well. 3 is about communication of deep soul knowledge. But I would say ultimately you really need to be on a more spiritual path in terms of what you do for work, probably to be really satisfied. How old are you now, can I ask?
51.
Okay. So you're beyond the 35 to 42 changeover to the spiritual. So you're in the 8th cycle of 7 years, which means that your soul probably really wants to get on with it.
Yeah, it
Because
feels like that.
you're probably feeling more in the pressure. Got to get on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going on. So I would say for you, what other therapies do you have? Soul contract?
So I do soul contract reading. I've done pranic healing
Yeah,
to level 3. I've done Reiki level 1. I've done a family constellation therapy course as well.
yeah. Okay. So um, in some form, you see this here, you have a spiritual karma gate. And you're actually here. I think the reason you've been working in corporate is to get grounded and understand how it works, how that world works, and also understand how the patriarchal world works. Okay. But you're here to get out in society and reach people. You're actually quite good. Are you good at connecting with people? This is saying you're good at connecting with people if you want to. Okay, you can be like an emotional chameleon. You can adjust your emotional spots depending on who you're with.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a good networker. My job is a networker,
yeah.
basically.
This is networking here.
Yeah.
So I'd say that what I'm seeing here, you're here to really, um, well, you're here as a spiritual explorer or physical. Have you tried lots of stuff out in the physical world? 20 is great movement.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I love traveling is my oxygen.
Yeah,
So I love travel. I've traveled, learned about different cultures. Um, Anything to do with learning and doing different things like I bake. My kids will always say, Mum, anything that you do, you're always good at. So if I try something new, I will just master it.
yeah. Okay, so you're here to explore the world and develop emotional resiliency in that exploration, but also to help others explore the world. Okay, explore life. But ultimately, you're here to be a spiritual teacher of some sort, to absorb and expand knowledge, and which is what a 12 does. Basically, absorbs knowledge, takes it to a higher form, and expands it. And then you're here to communicate it, teach it to the world. This is an internal canal. These deep soul wisdom in you be brought out the world as a communicator. So I think you're learning these skills in your job, but I sense that you're here to build a network of people. See, 7, the lesson of the 7, these symbols like this, is you're here to heal the wounded heart from childhood. What was your relationship like with your dad?
Oh, he passed away just before I turned 17.
Yeah,
Um, so I didn't really have by that stage. I think he was mostly retired, and he was doing a lot of community work. So I didn't really have when he was there in the house, we got on fine, but I didn't really have much of a relationship, Nicholas, if I'm honest.
Yeah, this is the lack of emotional connection to the father, or physical and emotional um, disconnect, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say it came later because when I got married, my father-in-law, who just recently passed away 5 years ago, he was a completely different character to my dad, a bit more like a disciplinarian. But as we got to know each other in the 20 years of marriage, it felt like what I didn't have with my dad, it sort of finished with my father-in-law because I ended up having a really great relationship with him.
Hmm. Yeah, so this is about reconnecting to the divine masculine aspect of God, this one here. So you managed to do it. And it's always with our fathers or father figures. Okay, so you managed to do that. This created a broken heart here in your job as you healed it. This is designed to heal your heart so you can drop the facade of who you want people to see, ego wants to see, to protect the wounded inner child who didn't have enough of father.
Yeah.
Okay. The idea is then to become one person and magnetize lots of like-minded people to you. Build a network of like-minded people to synergize it into a greater whole. And I'd say this is your spiritual audience of some sort that you're going to teach.
And I find that's happening now, Nicholas.
Yeah,
I would say more in the last 5 years, it's slowly starting to happen, and more so now, doing the soul contract reading work.
yeah. So I think you're laying the foundations for this. Um, and the spiritual goals here, well, this is about being able to relate to all these people coming into your network. The spiritual goals here is this 22-4. This is 22. I'll clean up the screen. 22 is about the blending of mind, body, and soul in the circle of God. You're learning to do it because it's a goal. You're learning to connect to source, to the multidimensional capabilities of the soul, to bring them through you and to share them in the world. This is what the four is about. The four is about taking whatever comes, duplicating it, and sharing it in the world. Okay. So, um, yeah, you're very versatile, Primala.
Yeah, 100, I would say 100% very adaptable.
Yeah, this is why, because the 22-4 is a means of drawing on whatever you need and delivering it to people in the way they need.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people say that. A lot of people
Yeah.
say,
Yeah. So overall, you're here to be of spiritual service to others, take them on a journey of exploration when they come to you, eventually as you teach them, building your networks of people to teach deep from the soul, absorbing all this knowledge and expanding and teaching them, and then to learn to ground in the body, move from the head into the body, okay, and to relate to all sorts and deliver this versatile channel multidimensional connection from spirit. So it's very much about being a spiritual teacher of some sort, communicator.
I think that's coming. I think that is coming because there's something that I am starting soon, which is about it's a podcast, and it's we've done the interviews already with guests. We've got a lot more coming up, but about people telling their real life stories, um, and actually bringing out what's going on internally, externally, and they've never said this before. So it's something that is starting. Okay, so that does make sense.
Yeah.
All of that.
So, so something to consider with this is it's quite hard to go cold turkey from corporate into the spiritual, but you might want to consider whether you can turn your job into a part-time job, okay, in the
Yeah.
corporate. That's what I did when I left my corporate job in London. I got it down to 2 or 3 days a week, and then I started this business. Because if you can have 2 or 3 days a week available, might have to be one of the weekend days, depending on the family load, then you can actually get something going. It takes time, you can get it going.
And you know that Nicolas, you're spot on because that's exactly what I've been thinking. Going, shall I go part-time?
Go part-time.
And and the structure is there, Nicholas. I have through the last 5 years built the structure of the soul contract stuff's ready to do, I do it anyway. And I fit it into my life. But even the podcast, the structure's there. I
Yeah,
just need to have the time to make it happen
just
now.
make the time. And I did it for about 6 months, and then I basically left. Then I left the corporate world.
Okay.
Then I left it. But it's easier financially because you don't want to put a lot of pressure on your spiritual business. Otherwise, because you're focusing, I've got to make the money. People don't come. But if you can stay, have the bills paid or enough of them paid by the part-time job, then you're focusing, I want to serve, which is what you're doing here. Then they come.
You have said what my internal system has been saying out loud, which is
Yeah,
I think that is the way I'm gonna go, which is go part-time and spot on, Nicholas. It's
yeah.
exactly what I needed to hear today.
Yeah, it takes time. Um, it's challenging creating an own spiritual business, but this is about sovereignty for you, being sovereign and being your own boss. See, there's a three. Three's lead from the soul. You need to be in charge. You don't need to be working for anyone else long term because you know from the soul
Yeah.
what is the right thing to do, and probably better than your own boss. You probably know what the right things to do, and it works because you're just
But
feeling it.
my boss said it last week. He said to me, but the bosses come to you for guidance when they need strategy support. So and it kept going in my head that what is it that I'm waiting for? But someone did say to me earlier this week, I don't see you being in your corporate job long.
Yeah.
I don't see they said that. So okay, Nicholas, I will follow your guidance because it has been nudging me that way.
Well, the other thing you could do when you leave them is you could offer consulting services. You can do
Someone said that to me.
corporate mentoring,
So, someone,
because they'll pay
yeah,
for it. If your bosses are coming to you, they'll pay for that. Because so you just say to them, look,
yeah.
I'm going to do this, but by the way, I can offer you mentoring service. They'll be like, where do we sign? Okay, where do we sign?
And someone said exactly that. The same person who said you're not going to be in corporate long said, actually, when I said that, what I didn't mean you're not completely leaving corporate because you love it, is do it on a consultancy basis.
Yeah, then you get paid a lot more per hour as well. So,
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And it
yeah,
gives me the balance to do the spiritual aspect and the the corp getting the money
yeah,
coming in as well.
yeah. You got to pay the bills. So
Yeah,
it's a gentle shift. I actually went
yeah.
back to do CEO mentoring after having left the corporate world. I went back about 20 years later. I went back and did mentoring.
Nicholas, can you give me one moment? Someone has rung the doorbell.
Okay,
Hold on.
all right. Okay, any questions,
Oh, you can just leave it on the floor. Thank you.
Mark or
Let me just
Tetsuko?
grab it.
Any questions? Put them in the chat or switch your mics on while Premila's getting to the door. No? Okay, you put them in the chat as well if you want.
Sorry about that, Nicholas.
That's okay. All right.
Yes, sorry, can you carry on? Because you said something. You were saying you did something similar.
I went back about 20 years later using this work to actually to mentor CEOs as part of a consulting business I'd set up with friends. So that's what I used it for. So you might find this useful if you're open to it, to mentor them using this. And it's very powerful.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's a good thing to consider.
Yeah. So do you have any questions? I asked Michael or Tetsuko if they had any questions. They don't have any at the moment. Do you have any questions about this before we move on?
No, that makes 100% sense.
Yeah. Okay. There's nothing is
Does Mark
wasted.
have any questions?
It doesn't seem to be. So I'll just continue unless you guys want.
Okay.
Put your hand up and switch your mic on if you do have a question, Michael or Tetsuko. Okay. Because you got corporate experience, they'll trust you, you see. I had very high level corporate experience, so I could do CEO mentoring. So that's another stream of income you could develop as well, because you understand how these environments work. Okay. Something else to think about.
Yeah.
Okay. All
And
right.
also, I'm thinking the way that in a corporate world, and we've started to do this because my director is like this as well, is how do you bring spirituality into the corporate world, and in how you do your job as well?
Well, it's all about aligning to the flow of the spiritual signature. It's it's about aligning to the flow of the heart. And people understand the word flow in the corporate world. Okay, so when people align to the natural flow from the soul contract, they tend to perform better. And if the whole team does it, the whole company does it, eventually, then the whole place works a lot better. Everyone's happier, more
That's,
aligned,
yeah, 100%.
and then
Yeah.
well, and if it's more focused on service as well, then they'll actually make more money in the end by doing this spiritual stuff. So when they see that result,
Yeah.
everyone's aligned, everyone performs better, is happier, there's less turnover. Everyone gets really interested by that stage because all the issues
And
that
we have
face.
seen huge shift in culture and mindset and happiness of people
Yeah,
compared to 2 years ago because we've had this sort of approach.
yeah, it does work. You see, so
Yeah.
yeah. All right, let's keep going. All right, okay. So how can you apply this work? Decide to come alone. If you're a therapist, counselor, coach, consultant, or a training workshop facilitator, this tool will give you the spiritual map of your clients or your students' lives immediately. So you'll get an immediate and profound understanding of their issues, which will accurately guide you throughout all your work with them. With immediate trust, because what it does is just slices through all the ego illusion, which creates all the hard stuff in life, and it produces better and faster results. Okay, so and what will the training give you? 5-day training. Basically, you'll learn a structure to help you understand yourself and everyone else in your life, and you learn how to give people readings based on their birth names and interpreting the 22 letters of Hebrew, just like I showed you. And you learn how your channel works and how to trust and develop. All right. And so the way we teach this is that for those of you guys who read the book, my book, The Also Contract Decoded, um, it's not about learning more about the book because most people have, well, the last class, some of them have been using it for 3 or 4 years, knew it, just about memorized it, if I remember. Um, you actually learn experientially through immersion and the interpretations of charts of yourself and your. Well, we don't use friends and family; we use the other people in the class mainly because a lot more people come to the training. So we'll spend the first 3 days sitting in the field of the transmission of the training, and you'll hear firsthand from people what is a karmic line like, what's a karmic fall like, and because they're talking about it and you're feeling the energy of it, you never forget. So you become the work rather than knowing more about the work, which is an experiential bodily learning is the most powerful. Okay, it reawakens the memory of it in your DNA. You never forget it. Okay, and then we spend the last 2 days of the training. We teach you how to hold space and actually deliver a reading. Excuse me, deliver readings to people by connecting to the. Show you how to prepare charts, how to prepare the interpretations, how to tune into what's right, and then how to channel and flow with it and deliver exactly what someone needs to hear in the moment with classmates. We do a couple of practices like that, and that sort of embeds it. People are amazed at how what comes out of their mouth because um, they realize I've become the work, and it's sort of like magic because it just literally switches on, doesn't it, Premala? Yeah,
100%. But the prime example is what you just did with me. I do soul contract readings and I look at my soul contract, but what you said in that moment was exactly what I needed to hear.
yeah, because you're ready. You weren't ready 2 weeks ago. You were ready today, though.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
and so we have ongoing professional development. We don't sort of train you then leave you to the wolves out in the marketplace. We have a peer-to-peer Facebook support group, and we have a Zoom optional Zoom support program for 2 hour trainings 2 hour sessions with Antigone Langley, who's the trainee lead teacher. Well, she's leading the training now. I'm more mentoring. I'm handing over to the next generation. So you get a real expert who's had 20 years of experience. Well, you leave the training all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then you go out to the real world, which is a bit of a shock sometimes. But then, and you're dealing with real people with real issues, and so every 5 or 6 weeks we have the support program where you bring all these situations to the support program. Say, Antigone, what happened here? How do I handle this? What's going on? And she'll give you the structure for how to handle these things. You take that new structure, try it for the next 5 or 6 weeks. More stuff comes up, but basically it gets you up and running. We found that 6 month support helps people really get out there with the work. And we also have a program we developed called Marketing and Manifesting Your Business. Basically, this is a 2-day introduction to how to run a fifth dimensional love-based service to others business. So it helps people make the transition from 3D corporate type mentality, which is maximize return on investment, to a 5D business, which is, in others, make as much money as possible. A 5D business is basically maximizing return on consciousness, how to raise the consciousness of your clients, how to serve with love, but also make a living as well. So we lay out the structure and landscape of this transition, jumping from here to here, which is a big jump. It's like going to another planet. Otherwise, if you apply these 3D corporate or matrix approaches to 5D businesses, they don't work so well. So it's sort of a distillation of all things I learned the hard way. And our Mary, who co-founded the business with me, things we learned the hard way to make your lives a lot easier in terms of these transitions. Because I had no idea what I was doing when I left the corporate world, and it was a real struggle for me. But I got there. So I'm just trying to share the pearls of wisdom I learned without you having to go through as much hard stuff. So what happens here? The readings enable you to give people a feeling of deep peace when they hear the truth of their lives read so profoundly and accurately, usually for the first time. Get a feeling of relief to know that there's an actual order and meaning to all the disparate experiences they had in their lives. I had that especially with my reading from Frank. I talked about at the beginning. I was like, oh, my life's not total write-off and chaos. There's a reason for it all, but at least I knew what was going on, which was a relief to me. It enables those who feel like victims of life to move out of this place and take charge, just like we said at the beginning, because they're creating that reality. When they realize that there's a possibility of change rather than playing what we call playing the role of the victim, which just steals energies from people, really. So they can start moving forward
And it's
into
that
like
bringing to
purpose.
awareness, isn't it,
Oh
Nicholas?
yeah,
It's that bringing into awareness because a lot of people don't know. Like they say, how much of a part do you play in your own suffering?
100%
And
of it. Yeah,
yeah,
100%. And that's hard for some people to accept because they're getting a lot of
yeah,
what we call secondary gain juice from other people by playing that role.
that's 100. Yeah,
Yeah. So basically, we teach you how to show people where people are on the spiritual map of life. How far? Say this is the map of your life, and you're here. Shows you exactly where you are in your progression. Most importantly, what recommendations to overcome the current challenges which are in your face, so you can manifest more of your dreams. So basically, how to progress down that, and how to align to your true soul life purpose. And it really touches people's inner being immediately and profoundly, creates a trust and connection. They go much deeper in their work with you. And it opens you to a deeper level of yourself, of connection to others, and compassion for humanity. Right, so I think I've said this already. So you'll be preparing and giving readings in the group. And the aim is you can deliver good readings soon after the group with a bit of practice. Okay. But usually people practice on each other in the group or friends and family initially. Okay. So any questions, anybody?
The only thing I would like to add on that slide that you just said, you know what is amazing about the soul contract training after we've finished the level 1 is I know the certificate is a different part of it, but doing those 5 case studies with clients, and I chose independent clients, not friends or family, and then getting the feedback from Antigone was really important because it allowed you to sort of perfect the art. But get some feedback as you're going along because when you're first starting, you're thinking, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Or have I breezed through this a bit too quickly? But it was really great to have that opportunity to do those 5 case studies and actually get constructive feedback from Antigone as a result of it. So it's not just you do the reading and you're on your own, it gives you the opportunity to get that feedback too.
Yeah, it's an integral part of the teaching program because it's not actually out there in the world having a go. You run into all sorts of interesting stuff which you won't see in the class, and the
Yeah,
feedback is to help you cope with that, how to develop your practitioner muscles in the real world.
yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, alrighty. So just check. This is a bit tricky. This thing. Any other questions, Mark or Tetsuko? Any questions you can put in the chat, or just switch your mic on? I'll keep going. No.
It'd
Okay.
be good to, Mark, did you find this useful? Ooh.
No, that's okay. No, we're not getting a response. It's fine.
Okay.
Some people just like to watch. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to this. A few more things to say here. Okay. So if you're interested in learning about this, um, the next training is this is our Asia Pacific training. This is why we do this in the morning here. Is the 5th to the 7th, 5th to the 7th, 9th to 10th of June, 2026. This is for the Middle East, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. Okay. That's what it's for. But also in England, because we start at 6 o'clock in the UK, 6 till 2. The earliest I can start teaching. And for example, for Japan, if you're in Japan, Tetsuko, it's 2 to 10 p.m. in Japanese time. And most extreme form is New Zealand, 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. But it used to be a lot later when we talk. We normally start at 12:30 UK time for the US market. So in Europe, it's 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Some people in England and Europe say, I like starting early. So that's why they come to this one. Gulf Standard Time is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. India is 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Malaysia and Hong Kong are 1 p.m. starts. Australia, most people are usually on the East Coast. It's 3 to 11 p.m. So we try to make it accessible for you guys out there. So why we do it. So if you want to come along, the full exchange is £718. It's that's probably a bit old now, $835. Probably it's a bit different now, I think. Let me see work that out for you. The exchange rate keeps changing. Hmm. About $970 now, approximately, some
Yeah.
exchange rate. The deposit is £277 or $375 approximately. Okay. We also have payment plans, pay over 3 months. PayPal, sometimes Stripe offers things up to 10 or 12 payments if you need a bit of help with that. And you can find out more at soulcontractreadingtraining.com. That's the URL. Okay. We surprisingly we get a lot of people coming from North America still because they can't usually wait till the October training when they discover this. And so it's like going on a long haul flight. A lot of people do this. You start at 1 in the morning, 1 to 9 a.m. Eastern time, 12 to 8 a.m. in Central time. Start 11 p.m. the previous day Mountain time and 10 p.m. in Pacific time. quite often we have more North Americans starting at midnight than we have Asians on this training, which is we didn't expect to see that happen. Okay, so that's for everyone from Europe, uh, eastward normally, but if you're watching it from North America, the next and you can't quite handle that really early start. The next Western Hemisphere training, okay, we run one in spring. We just ran one last month, which Pramela was on, and the autumn one on 7th to the 9th and 11th to 12th of October. We have a day in the middle to rest after the transmission. And that runs at 12:30 p.m. UK, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Central, 5:30 a.m. Mountain, 4:30 a.m. Pacific. Okay, because I can't teach beyond 8:30 p.m., which is why we start at that time. My efficiency drops off a lot by that stage. Okay, it's the same price and same URL. So they're the two choices. So, but if you're interested in learning about relationships, which is level 2, people usually come to this one because the relationship training, how relationships work and different name changes work, starts on the 31st of July. So people come to this one to then go to level 2 as well. That's the other thing that happens.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing the level 2. I've just got because I've used up all my annual leave for this year, so I would just need to manage that element. But I definitely do want to do level 2. And I just want to say, you're looking at these timings, sometimes it can be daunting, but the time flies so quickly when you're doing the training.
Yeah, it goes fast. It's like you're in a fifth dimensional bubble. It's very altering
Yeah, it
training,
is.
training bubble, all of us. So
Yeah.
yeah, and people who do this timing here, they just what North America, what we find is that people take these things with no jet lag tablets and they go to sleep before the training as much as they can. Like they might go to sleep at 7 in the evening Eastern time, get 4 or 5 hours sleep. Then they'll go to sleep immediately after the training as well. That's how they manage. But if you think of yourself on a 4-day, or actually a 6-day long haul flight, then it's easy to cope with. Okay,
Yeah.
so all right. Any other questions, people, before we finish?
None from me.
Mark and Tetsuko? No? All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. I hope it was helpful.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Um, any other questions, you can email me if you've got my email address. And thanks for coming. Okay, and hope you guys on YouTube are enjoying this.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. It was absolutely amazing and spot on.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
it's
thank
life-changing. Honestly, it is.
yeah. Yeah, thanks for stepping up to be the demo.
No worries.
All right. Thank you everybody.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.